All right, it is good to be back. It seems like it has been a while. I have been on vacation. It was more of a staycation, which I would probably make you think that I should have popped out a bunch of videos, but let's just kind of say that I went into hyper relaxation mode. A lot of time by the pool. That was a lot of fun, and I mean just taking it easy and just trying to remove any expectation and or pressure that I might have had on me for anything, any responsibility. So it was a good 9-day stretch, and we enjoyed it. But we'd very much like to get back to the channel. And definitely miss this dynamic. It almost feels a little weird because it seems like it's been so long. It's really not too much longer than it usually is, just a matter of days. But we would like to switch gears a little bit, just a little bit, and try to provide some different type of content if we could. Still pressing on the case studies. I'm working on one now that's, I know it's been a while, but I mean, it's pretty intense. I don't even suspect that there's going to be a tremendous amount of guitar playing in it, perhaps just more discussion. And hopefully that you can chime in, you can throw in some information as well through the comments and help educate me, and it kind of becomes a team approach works best type of a thing for all of us to learn, I hope. But anyway, I guess anything new that I'm going to get, we're going to try to look at. And I'm not really on a big buying spree right now. I've kind of chilled out on buying guitars. I mean, good Lord, since I think September, I've purchased 7 guitars. That was like more than I had originally. I think I have 13 total now, so it's outrageous, and it's getting a little bit hard to find a place to put them. You know, you have to have stands and cases, and man, it all adds up, doesn't it? Not only fiscally, but space becomes an issue. So anyway, something that I would like to do is talk about guitar strings for a little bit. And I would like to demonstrate some strings that someone bought for me. Now, strings are a lot like a guitar, in a sense, in the way that it's quite an adventure, and you're on a journey when you first learn to play. What instrument is going to suit you? Are you going to be a Les Paul person? Are you going to be a Strat person? I think you know what I am. Just like that feminine design of the Strat, from the laterals to the waist to the hips, and the cutaway on the back of it just feels good against your body. It's not as heavy. I'm just a Strat guy. I guess we know that. But anyway, you kind of start out on a journey, and you know, when you're first starting, you'll play anything, everything seems okay, but then you start experimenting and you pick up a different style guitar, and then you learn, it's like, well, boy, I don't know what it is, because you don't really have the knowledge and understanding at that point, because it's so early in the game, of why it is that you like it. But then it becomes a process of discovery. And you discover that I like this body style, I like this wood style, I like a ebony fretboard, I like a maple fretboard, I like a rosewood fretboard, whatever it might be. You kind of discover that over the process of time. And for me, I know that discovery has led me to just a Strat style body with a maple neck at all costs, although I do have the black Mitchell guitar has the rosewood as well as my Les Paul. But preferably, I really do prefer a maple neck. However, another part of your discovery, I think, along your journey, if you will, of playing guitar is finding what strings suit you, reflect you. Maybe oftentimes it becomes a budget issue. I know for me, early on, I think I was using GHS Boomers, 9-gauge, straight 9. And that suited me pretty well for a while, and actually that was a fiscal thing for me. And then there's a store here in Louisville. Some of you might be familiar with it. I know there's a few subscribers that actually are from Louisville, which is awesome. It was a DooWop shop. And the DooWop shop, I know on the surface, what the heck is the DooWop shop? Well, it was a music rental store, and you could buy instrumentation as well. But I tell you, back in the 80s, you talk about helpful, absolutely helpful to an individual as far as getting them started on their musical career. And I was such a louse. I mean, I was just so irresponsible, living with my aunt, hanging out in the basement most of the time. And I was working like 32 hours a week, some third shift job, and I was renting like a big, I think it was like an 812 or 810 cabinet or something. That's just from the DooWop shop, and a little rack mount digital delay and some microphones. And I had a job. I guess I would rather go to Arby's than pay my bill. And I hate to be storytelling on you, but so anyway, I guess I didn't pay my rent for a couple of months. And so I worked third shift, came home, practiced my guitar as I usually did, then I'd go to bed for a while. And so my brother woke me up and he goes, "Hey man, Victor Himball still owns the DooWop shop." And he said, he came over and he got your cabinet. And then I was like, "You're kidding me." And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Man, what I'm gonna, but I did have like a Marshall head for a while, or I had a Marshall head that was great. Still wish I had it. It was custom master volume in the back. It was awesome. Extra preamp stage. It was just incredible." But anyway, I'm getting verbose. So anyway, Victor left after he took the cabinet, and I guess he looked at my contract and saw that I also had this digital delay. So he comes back. I'm still sleeping. My brother hasn't awakened me yet, or awoken, or whatever. He hasn't. I'm still asleep. Let's put it that way. My grammar's not so good sometimes, even though I strive for excellence. So anyway, Victor comes back and he says, your brother also has a digital delay, and I'm going to take that too because he's late. So he takes it, and he told my brother, he said, tell your brother he's a butthole, in so many words. He used the real thing, but I try to keep all this family friendly, which is a little bit of a stretch for me. But anyway, so he wakes me up, and I'm like, man. So I get up, I don't get all my sleep in, and I go up there, and I'm like, Victor, I've got to have that stuff back. I've got a band, it's my sound, if nothing else, I've got to have the digital delay. And he said, no. He said, nothing walks out of here until you pay your bill. I kind of argued with him, and that was nice and pleasant, but I was just, oh, come on. I said, please let me. And he's like, no. He says, nothing. I said, okay. I said, well, here, let me just give you $50 toward there's like $90 or something. It's just really pathetic, isn't it? And then he looks at me and he goes, I can't believe that you're being so understanding. And I'm just thinking, I'm a jerk. I haven't paid my bill. I'm late. I've defaulted, And he goes, I can't believe you're being so understanding. And I was like, whatever. And he goes, well, hold on a minute. He walks in the back, comes back. He has my folder, and he starts looking at some stuff. And he looks, what's this? And there was like a little handwritten $35 bill that I had rented some microphones for something. I forget what it was. It's been so long. My God, you're talking 30 years probably. And he just said, don't worry about that. And he wrote it off. And so I gave him the $50. He couldn't believe how understanding I was. And I was like, whatever. And he let me take my gear back with the $50 paid. And he gave me a free month's run on everything. Strangest thing in the world. Now, the reason I tell that story is we're talking about strings. I know that's a long way around. But I used to buy the DooWop brand in-house branded strings, and they were cheap. Inexpensive, I should say. They worked and performed pretty well, actually, but I think they were like $3 a set or something, $2.50. I forget what it was, but they were great. It's all I could afford at the time. Well, probably could have afforded more, but I just didn't like buying stuff and paying for my bills and all of that. But we've gotten a lot better, trust me. So anyway, we went from the DooWop strings there for a while. We went to GHS Boomers. But then when I found like the Ernie Ball, I think they're super slinkies in the pink package, 9 to 42 or whatever they are. I don't know because I haven't used them in a long time. But I really got accustomed to those strings, and I like the way they sounded. I like the way they performed. Durability seemed nice. I'd break a few strings though, but I think a lot of that had to do with the guitar I was playing. So then, after a while, you're thinking, I need a little bit more meat and potatoes. So Ernie Ball, just an ingenious move, comes up with the hybrid slinkies. And these things are great. And as opposed to 9 through a 40, whatever they might be on a super slinky, it's a mixture. It's hence the phrase hybrid. So on your first, second, and third strings reflect a 9 gauge, but then your fourth, fifth, and sixth reflect a 10 gauge string. So you get a little bit more. I want to think that you have a little bit more chunk, meat, and potatoes when you're doing like root fifth chords and playing rhythm and stuff. So I found these are the strings that I use. I think again it's a personal thing. They perform very well. They stay in tune very well. It doesn't take a whole lot for me to stretch them anymore. It seems like over another thing on your journey, part of your discovery is finding that stretching routine for your guitars. But I buy these things exclusively. Absolutely love them. And I suspect that I should not be getting away from them. Now, a buddy of mine that I was in a band with, actually he was in the same band that when I was renting the stuff and not paying the bill back in the 80s, his name's Alan Crow. And he was our singer, good guy. And I didn't see Alan for really a couple of decades, and actually reunited, had a birthday dinner a few years back, about 4 years ago, and it was nice to see Alan, and we communicate on Facebook and what have you. So he sent me a message, and he wanted my address to send me a gift, and I was like, sure. And so he sent me a gift. I had no idea what it was going to be, and he knew that I had used 8s before, because I'm a huge Yngwie fan, obviously. But 8s, I tell you what, it was about 35 minutes, and I would break that 8. So I'm guessing that Yngwie uses a bunch of guitars all night because the abuse that he gives them, there's just no way, unless there's something, I don't know, help me out, chime in, that you can sustain the life of those strings a little bit longer, because I just couldn't get much use out of them. But no, it felt great. It was just like you almost feel like you're going to cut your fingers like it's the side of a razor. They're so thin. So I tried 8s, but it just economically just wasn't a good investment for me. I didn't have enough guitars, I didn't have enough time. I don't have a guitar tech or something who's going to start restringing my guitars for me all the time. It's ridiculous. But he sent me these Rev Willys, Mexican lottery brand. And these are the Billy Gibbons, Mr. ZZ Top, his signature set of strings. And they come in, I think, 10s, 9s, 8s, and 7s. And so my buddy, I think almost tongue-in-cheek, sent me a set of 7s. These things are 7-gauge, in case you think I'm lying. I'm sure you know all about them. So let's set the contrast between the hybrid Slinkies and the Reverend Willys. 7s. So this starts with the 9. This starts with the 7. The second string is a 9. So it's like you're getting the super slinky gauge, but it's actually on the B string. It's ridiculous. So I've had these for probably 2 or 3 months, something like that. Not too long. And I've been kind of waiting to see what I was going to do with them. So what I think I'm going to do is, it'd be funny to do an unboxing video of a set of strings. That's a little silly, isn't it? But anyway, they're a 7, 9, 11, 20, 30, and a 38, which is compared to a 46 on what I'm using now. So that's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. So the low E is almost like an A string. So that's just on a kind of regular slinky gauge, I guess, a 10 gauge. So this is going to be pretty amazing. I love the old, I don't know what you call it, southwestern look of the package. Let's open them up and just see what the individual strings look like. It's probably nothing special, I guess. I don't know. Oh, well, this is fun. Hey, you get a sticker. Awesome. Oh, this is nice. They have the little logo on each one with the little, I guess it's, looks like a wolf. I don't know what it is. 7, 9, 11, 20, 30, and 38. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut everything down here, and we're going to put these on this guitar, which is the one, maybe unless we edited out that I was playing here at the beginning of the video. This would be one of my cheap imported guitars we all know about. It's fake. It's fun. Love the scallop neck. And currently they have the hybrids. And I really haven't played this one much. As a matter of fact, it still needs some fret leveling. It still has some buzzing and stuff. But we're just going to go ahead and run with it because number 2, which is my favorite guitar, I'm not going to be jacking around with that one too much as far as experimenting with it because I love it. So, anyway, enough said. We're going to restring the guitar, and we'll be right back here in a little bit, hopefully, to play it, see what it sounds like, and talk about how it feels. 7s. It ought to be interesting. Thanks. So we have the strings on the guitar now, the 7s, and I must say they are light. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It is just like butter to play this thing now. The bending, the vibrato is just effortless. And when I first started playing, after I got them on, it was a chore. You're just practically pulling the strings off the neck, and I'm not even kidding. Initially, I was tuned a half step down, and I quickly realized that is not going to work. There's no way that you can keep this thing, your intonation and pitch, especially with a scalloped neck, made it virtually impossible to make the thing sound like it was in tune. So then I went up to 440, which is where I've been anyway for the last 5 or 6 years, I guess. And it seems to have kind of tightened it up a little bit, so it sounds pretty good. But, the harmonics, the texture, the strings. Listen to this. This is just nasty. It's real stratty, real stratty. Very glassy tone. I love that glassy tone of the Strat, and it seems like these lighter gauge strings are bringing it out even more. Has really kind of piqued my curiosity, I think, where I might look into maybe getting some Yngwie signature strings that start with an 8, a little bit bigger. Boy, to feel like a, intercoastal, telephone wire or whatever. Anyway, these things are just, man, it's so cool because when you start playing it, you start recognizing and listening and hearing. I'm such a big Yngwie fan that some of those sounds that he gets, I think it's just as some of it is a product as far as that tone of having an extremely light gauge of strings. You get that clickety lower region. It's the thing I don't like about a humbucker. It just fattens things up too much for me. But I prefer a single coil. But this, just really that clickety. It's just effortless to play, it seems like to me. And you hear sometimes when Yngwie's kind of doing some palm muting, he's up in the neck position, and it's just absolutely blistering yet kind of a salty sound. It's hard to really describe it, but it's an incredibly round sound, and it seems to be a little bit emphasized, a little bit even more with the light gauge string. So I don't know how long they're going to last. They sound good. They feel great. Again, the vibrato is just effortless. You can really make the thing snarl. So we'll just let you hear it. We'll play through a couple of little things here, maybe a couple of minutes of 2 different backing tracks. Maybe we'll see what it sounds like. But I hope that this is interesting, and maybe go out and get your pack of these. What are they? Rev Willys or whatever they are. I have to put it in the notes, I guess. I've forgotten already. The package is gone. However, if you would, please like, please comment, please subscribe. That would be awesome. Thanks for watching. Let's just play a little.